Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fire Emblem 6, The Binding Blade, Director's Cut Edition.
Director's cut, wow.
Right?
We're moving up in the world.
I feel like I'm sitting in my director's chair. I'm sipping on my coffee. I'm about to talk about my feelings with Xenith on, the production of this Let's Play.
Of course,
The,
yes.
the scripted Iron Man that we created with the intent of making scripted dramatic moments.
Of course, yeah, it was all planned.
Yeah,
we had the RNG seed laid out in advance.
Yeah, we're gonna make like a Nuzlocke comic about it now and make it very dramatic.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. I wish I could draw better. I would totally do that.
Oh man, same. But yeah. So I think
So
now.
what are we here for today then?
So today, let's talk about units, dude. Let's talk about our units. Let's reflect on their performance, and I don't think we'll go through everyone because there's actually not a whole lot. We did kill off a lot of units, but
I was gonna say, yeah, we should think about some of the mourn for the dead.
Look at this though. Look who we have in trial maps.
Oh yeah.
We got Narshan.
I am Beauty, I am Grace. I can't remember the rest of his speech.
Oh god.
Me, no one else.
I love when Murdoch completely owns Narshan. It's so satisfying.
Oh, it is, honestly. It puts him in his place.
Yeah, it's probably the best part of FE6's story. But anyway.
100%.
Roy, the Great Lord.
The boy.
So
I don't think he looks that bad, to be honest.
I think he turned out okay. I think that, I don't think our story with Roy was particularly different than, what most people experience with Roy, where it's, he's usable for the early part of the game, and then, by, the end of the Western Isles, it's just kind of he becomes a liability because he doesn't promote on time. And
yeah, exactly. He just really falls behind. And again, especially because it's Iron Man rules as well, we have a completely different sort of task with Roy. A lot of the time, people will be like, "Oh, if Roy dies, you just But for us, if Roy dies, that is it.
Yeah, we had to keep Roy safe.
No more game, no more recording. So we really had to be super treading on thin ice with him all the time.
Yeah, and I gotta say, dude, and I think with Roy and just Lords designed like Roy, I really like them for Iron Man because it really is the king piece in a match of chess. It's you can't, you don't want to leave them exposed. They're not that strong. You just have to protect them. And I think that Roy serves that purpose really well, where it's he's not completely defenseless, but you wouldn't ever really frontline with him unless you absolutely needed to. And then I recall...
But then in the late game, he becomes an absolute Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
So.
After he promotes and gets the Binding Blade, it's much better. But Chair said it really well, and I'll echo what his sentiments are about Roy, where it's it gets to a point where Roy will just clean up one kill per game, just get some scraps every chapter. You'll just see what Roy in combat wants to pick off a 5 hit point fighter or something like that, and that's his contribution.
I see. Yeah.
But I thought Roy was
the boost
fine
as well, so we could run across the map a bit more.
Yeah, I think Roy was serviceable. I don't think he was a particularly bad Roy. He was not a particularly good Roy. He was Roy. He did what he needed to do.
He was Roy, indeed. I think that wraps it up nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we save this one for last?
I mean, he's right here. I think we can.
Yeah, he's right here. Let's talk about him. So,
what do you have to say about Lot? What do you have to say about Lot?
What do I have to say about Lot? Just, what were the odds? What were the odds? I know we said this in the finale, but what were the odds of us getting a Lot that carried most of the mid to late game for us? With just exemplary speed, just incredible defense, and just really one of the most reliable units I think I've ever seen in Fire Emblem 6, a ROM hack.
Yeah, and IS, man, you made Warriors good somehow. No one expected it.
No other game have I ever relied on a Warrior this much.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, yes, we did give him some stat boosters to kind of help him get over the hump, but we gave them those stat boosters because we knew it was going to make him better, not to salvage him.
Exactly. It was never going to be nothing is a sunken cost with Lot because it pays itself forward 10 times.
Yeah, he was incredible, honestly. I think I think it's like one thing that I think people get really caught up with FE6 is like, oh, like Lot and Wade, like they aren't very good. Marcus makes better use of axes, yada yada. But it's like Marcus can only do so much each turn, and there's more than like one use of the hammer or one use of the halberd per turn. And Lot was good with that. We did get very lucky. The RNG was very favorable to Lot, just both on like him getting like some clutch hits and kills on like netting like some 60s and 70s, and then just like
sure.
proccing a lot of speed, defense, and hit points. Like this is an exceptional Lot, and
Oh, for sure, yeah. We're never gonna see this again.
we're never gonna see this again. And like I think I was telling you this afterwards. It's like I don't know if I can ever play FE6 and not have Lot. I just don't know if it'll feel the same.
Honestly, yeah, it won't be the same.
It's like I can try forcing it, but the RNG is a cruel mistress. I don't know if I could ever achieve this
Sure.
29 speed Lot, dude. I mean, look at
Yeah,
this,
dude.
man. It's
Can we flick to his weapon range?
insane.
Yeah, there you go.
It's insane.
The Essin bows, I think, just really rounded it off.
Yeah.
Having Murglet. The Brave bow, I think, served itself really well.
Yeah.
I remember in Chapter 16 especially, that Brave bow, heavy machine lot was just carrying us.
And just
It really was.
and just getting the extra hit from bows too really helped him out because axes are crap in this game, and I think that's one of the reasons why the axe users are often overlooked in FE6 is because axes are just kind of a crappy weapon type. And so getting bows and getting like behind his strength and then getting the extra hit really, really helped. I have nothing else to say. I think Lot, MVP of the run.
Oh, 110%. I could not agree more. He was the best unit of the run.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't
No one even
always
comes close.
he wasn't always the best unit throughout like every section of the game. It's not like he's not like FE8 Seth where he's your best unit like start to finish.
Yeah.
But I would say Lot was like close enough to the top of the pack throughout all points of the game, and then like I think really like the last like quarter, it was just like Lot. Lot is the man. Lot is who we rely on.
Percival and Lance were really the kind of, and Niime. They were kind of like the final squad, I think, that really pushed us. And Rutger, of course.
Yeah.
Rutger. We'll get to them.
We'll get to them. But Lot, incredible unit, easily my favorite. I liked Lot
Absolutely.
before this run. I always was like, I think Lot is an overlooked fighter. I think his stats and growths are better than what people give him credit for. And this was like that to the nth degree. Like, holy shit, dude, he maxed out speed so early. I can't believe it.
Oh, he's ridiculous. Yeah. Honestly, what a guy. Ah, my man.
Yeah. So Rutger, dude, I think
Right, now I've got to do it. I've got to do it.
go do it.
I'm Rutger.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes,
I
you
had
are.
to. It's ritual. Anyway, so our boy.
Yeah,
our boy.
so with Rutger, dude, my thought is that like Rutger makes the early game so much more palatable because he
Sure.
is the only one who can hit things on thrones, and like really from start to finish, he is the best boss killer, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
100%.
He does so well against bosses on gates and thrones. His affinity is nice for supports. He supported Deke, which was really nice. He capped skill. He has great speed. He's got solid strength.
Yeah, once he had the Durandal, there was honestly nothing that could stop him. He could have just one rounded his FEL had he probably procced a crit. I just think the only thing holding him back was that sometimes he wasn't very RNG proof.
No, he's not.
There were some matchups or some times where if we'd thrown him out into the front of the pack, it really just depended on whether he dodged or not. Because if he went against like a Silver Lance Paladin, he'd be taking like sometimes over half of his health in one hit. Especially some heroes as well who just do some heavy damage. Like one badly placed Rutger and he was gone. But otherwise, just so insanely just versatile.
Yeah, I agree. And towards the end of the game, I think like the matchups were becoming more pronounced. Like him against like Wyverns was really like not favorable for him. Like how little damage he was doing and how much he was taking, and at hit rates that were very questionable. And so,
and that was where Melody and Locke kind of stepped in to take over.
So like I would say Rutger is probably our best unit from like if not the best, like top 3 for like
Oh, for sure, top three, yeah. Especially for the first third of the game, I'd say.
yeah, first third. I would even go as far as to say like the first half really Rutger was carrying, and then by the
Yeah,
time we
you
got
think?
like promoted Melody, I think that's when things started to shift a little bit. But he was
Yeah,
still
okay,
so
I can agree
solid.
there.
Like I don't think any of us would question how useful he was, and just how I mean he could have easily destroyed Zephiel. We know this.
Yeah, we know that. We saw the matchup.
Yeah, he just did really well. I mean,
Yeah.
Deke support
Helped by his buddy,
helped by Deke. Deke,
Deke.
Deke, and then speaking of Deke,
There he is.
uh,
Yeah, not the most impressive Deke I've ever seen, I'll be honest.
yeah, I mean this the strength. He struggled with strength a lot. This Deke.
Oh, he was massively strength screwed.
I mean, we also like Deke also got screwed over by Lot being as good as he was because I think
Yeah.
normally like common wisdom would say like first hero crest to Rutger, second one to Deke, and Deke had to wait till chapter 16 to promote.
Oh, he did, yeah. He took ages to promote.
And so he took ages to promote. He like barely procced any strength. I mean, credit to his bases that he was able to be as useful as for as long as he was. I
Yeah,
think
definitely.
really where Deke shined though was supports. Like
Oh, yeah, seriously. He was big utility.
he has the really nice thunder affinity, which is good for crit. He benefited from being around Lot and Rutger, who were two heavyweights as we just described.
Yeah.
Deke was like very much like I felt like he was integral structural support to the army, and I think that had we lost
That's a good way
Deke,
of putting it.
it would have been really rough for those two men on the screen, Lot and Rutger. So I think Deke was like quietly very useful as much more of a utility. I mean, at the beginning when he first joins, fantastic, like super
Oh,
reliable,
yeah.
robust, tough. But like as he leveled, and he didn't level. This one didn't level particularly well outside of speed. I think his speed is really the only stat that stood out to
Yeah,
me as like
that's true,
standout.
actually. I don't tend to see him that fast. Because
This is
his
a
growths are actually surprisingly low.
yeah. This was a fast Deke, and so that was nice. But his strength really held him back from being like combat plus his late promo. I think had Lot not been as good, I think Deke would have been better. But Deke
Yeah,
served
that's
his role
true.
well, like making Lot and Rutger better, and for that, I think he is invaluable.
That is true. I think that's a good way of putting it.
And then who do we got next? Lalum, just dancer.
Yeah, Dancer, not a lot to say, really.
Not a lot to
What's
say.
her avoid at?
Her avoid is 65, pretty incredible.
Yeah.
The angelic robot in Lalum was really nice too because it helped her tank a few things. But
Yeah, I was going to say, usually paper thin, only 5 defense. Oof.
yeah, the extra, the speed and luck though, really clutch.
Yeah, definitely. That's like Rutger levels of avoid. Ah, yes, the Flying Fortress herself.
Yeah. So Melody was pretty incredible. I think. I mean, conventional wisdom will tell you Marcus, Rutger, Melody. They're the top 3 units in the game. Melody is
Especially in
so,
hard mode.
especially in hard mode, and Melody is so consistent. Like, she levels well. She has great bases. I mean, she's held back a little bit by her caps, but like, no one else needs to like. She doesn't need to hit anything higher. She was so
Yeah.
useful. I felt
You
very
just gave her a
comfortable.
killer lance. There were just so many matchups that she would just so easily win because it would just be like 25 times 2 with like a 90% hit.
Yeah,
You just couldn't pass that up.
yeah, she is incredible. I don't think that this melody was particularly different from the norm. I don't think there's really
Yeah,
much
it's
to
pretty
comment.
standard to me.
Pretty standard melody performance, which is fantastic. Like, really a hard carry for a lot of it, and just the flying utility helped her do things that a lot of other units could not. And so
Yeah,
I
once she
think
had the Delphi shield, she was unstoppable.
definitely it made such a big difference. So melody was pretty awesome. I don't know why you would ever look over this unit in hard mode, especially.
I don't
But
think you could even if you tried.
yeah, sure. I mean, just imagine like how different the game would have been without melody.
I don't want to think about it. It's painful.
It's painful, exactly. So yeah, she was great. Lance,
Ah, disappointing. Is the
Lance
only
was
word that comes to mind.
disappointing, and kind of like, I mean, Alen was definitely the superior of the two calves. I mean, we promoted him first. Alen had better
Had
stats.
amazing stats.
Lance did not grow particularly well. We promoted him a little bit later. His saving
He didn't get
grace,
that speed.
he didn't get speed. I mean, he supported Lot and Roy, both of which were helpful for each of his partners. Playing chess with Lot helped Lot out a ton.
Oh yeah, seriously. I think that might have been the turning point with Lot. Really, was when he learned to play chess.
When he learned to play chess, he just like he was awoken, and then just like giving some extra stats to Roy, really nice.
Rescue utility as well.
Rescue utility, like he was serviceable. Like I I think like had he gotten better level ups, he would have been better in combat. But past like a certain point in the game, like really like past the Western Isles, like his
He just
combat
dropped
really
off
just like
massively.
yeah, his combat just didn't hold up very well, and kind of like Deke, he kind of just like faded into the background a little bit. But again, very much
Yeah.
like integral support. I mean, we deployed him every chapter. Like
Yeah, I don't think there was a single chapter he wasn't in. He wasn't there. So, guess we can give him that.
yeah, like he earned his deployment slot throughout the entire game. So there's credit to be given there, and he
Yeah, for
supported
sure.
two important units. So very useful. Disappointing on the combat front, but I think like this type of lance, like putting on my design hat for a bit, like I think paladin units like this are really fun to work with because they
Yeah.
don't rely on like they're not just going to dominate with combat like Percival, but they have other things going on that make them interesting and worth deploying, and it's like they lean more on their movement and their rescue utility to be worthwhile. And so perfectly serviceable. I like Lance. I think that this one particularly got a little stat screwed, but still very useful. I don't know if we even if like I don't know if we would have benched him even with like a few extra living units. Do you agree?
No, I think the supports alone is just what got Lance his slot. But yeah, I think that kind of sums it up nicely.
Cecilia.
The healer who came just in time.
My god, dude. Like I know that like the joke was that we kept killing, especially me, like we would just keep killing off healers. And
Yeah.
I thought like Cecilia's days were numbered the moment she joined our army. And she obviously has like a pretty rough start in Arcadia, being in the middle of the sand on a horse. Like who thought
Having
that
no
was a good idea?
stats at all.
Yeah, her stats are not good, but you know, I will say I was pleasantly surprised by some of her combat contributions earlier on when she first joined. Like she was doing pretty solid chip damage with an Elfire and Air Caliber.
Yeah, no, that's true. And then once she picked up an air caliber, she could shred a good chunk of her wyvern's health.
Yeah, so she was. I mean, she was mostly healing and some utility, but I think Cecilia is
Yeah.
pretty criminally underrated by the population at large. I think she's perfectly
Mm.
usable. I didn't ever really feel like I should bench this unit or I don't want this unit. I mean, yeah, if you're training
We
Clarine
couldn't
and
have even
she's
if we wanted to.
true, like if we had Clarine and Clarine was alive with like Deacon Rutger supports and like had gotten to promotion point, like sure, probably we wouldn't be using Cecilia, but Clarine's stats in
Yeah.
general like aren't that great, and Cecilia was perfectly serviceable for what we needed her to do.
And in her defense, she has a fair bit of magic. Doesn't she join with like 13 magic?
Yeah, she grew magic pretty well. She has decent
Yeah, but a lot of
res.
healing potential.
Yeah, and she's good ranks. Like she was useful for sure.
Yeah. I completely forgot that she gave Percival a bit of a support.
Yeah, we just had her support Percy.
Not bad.
Well,
Yeah.
Cecilia
No, I think
was
that's alright.
pretty solid. I think often overlooked, but I think she's good.
Yeah.
Igrene, dude.
Oh dear, I wish we didn't have to use her.
I mean, obviously Klein is great, but dude, like I'm impressed with how much mileage we got out of Igrene. Honestly, like I never used this unit before. I feel like
Neither.
she's very easy to overlook because Klein is usually better, Shin is usually better, Sue has so much runway, and you're probably going to be more invested in her as a bow unit. Igrene is so easy to overlook, and I was pleasantly surprised with her performance. FE6 gives you no shortage of shit to shoot at, and
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Igrene was up to the task, and so I really liked
There were a
this
couple
unit.
of moments where I thought she was a bit ropey. There were times where she just her speed and her con held her back a bit. Especially when she started to kind of duel some faster wyverns, she was only ever getting one hit off. Didn't quite one shot, but again, I know that's asking a fair bit, but
Yeah, like these stats, like these actually, her stats are actually better than I thought they were.
yeah,
But yeah.
that's true.
You're totally right. Like the low con holds her back. She kind of had to rely a lot on killer bow crits to be really effective. But As far
And she
as
grew
like,
two speed over time, which is not bad.
yeah, it's like she's not a bad unit, and I think this is another unit that's like very easy to overlook, and it just kind of shows like how deep the bench is of FE6 characters and like how Iron
Yeah.
Man friendly this game really is. Where like a unit like Igrene can still like be good from like her joint to the end, even if like you might not normally use her. She's still perfectly serviceable and did her role very well, really, right up until the end, where it was like she just wasn't doing enough damage or had enough speed to really make a major impact. But like, I'll take free chip damage.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I think she definitely she rose to the challenge that we gave her.
100%. Percy, I'll let you start.
Look at those stats.
I'll let
Oh
you
my
talk about
God.
Percy. You can gush on about him.
Oh, so Percival, just honestly, just this man is RNG proof. I said it in part one, and I'll say it again. This guy has such an incredible mix of HP, speed, luck, and defenses. Yeah, there is just nothing not to like. Look at that con, 12 con. He can wield pretty much everything without losing speed, unless you're giving him a steel axe for whatever reason. The only problem I have with Percival is that he just seems to miss all the time. I don't know if it's that we gave him some particularly dodgy weapons, but it always seems like he just missed at the crucial moment. And I'm not talking about any particular event at all. I'm definitely not talking about Chapter 60. Anyway, look, what is not to like? And almost capped HP. Come on now.
Yeah,
He's
I
just
mean,
so good.
Percy's fantastic. There's no doubt about that. I think you're right. I think we also like we leaned on Percy a lot with axes. I think, which
Yeah.
played a role. We did give him the killer axe a lot to mess with, the brave axe and stuff. His hit rates are a little sketchier than I think he gets credit for a lot of time. Like I think, like you said, Percy's RNG proof, but I think that's really much more on like the bulk and defense side, less so on the
Sure.
offense side. Like he's very useful, but his hit rates are like just dodgy enough where I'm like, like I would expect more.
Yeah, it's never 100% comfortable really with Percival, and I think that's again probably down to good design, not
Yeah.
making him, because I think if he did have those amazing hit rates, he would just be like Seth. He'd be unstoppable.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of, again, me putting my design hat on, I think he's definitely well thought out, I think.
Yeah, I agree. He's if you I've been playing Order of the Crimson Arm lately, and he reminds me a lot of Frank, who's the paladin you get in that game. Just kind of
Right.
like a bruiser type paladin, like big, chunky, good con, solid defense, can like be thrown into battle. Is not going to be like your most efficient combat unit, but like certainly reliable and like someone who like can take a few hits for you and just kind of come out okay. And Percy, I think, did that really well. His speed is excellent.
Oh my God, yeah, he grew speed twice. Also, another fun fact, he grew in res twice at a 10% growth.
Did he really? Wow.
Yeah, out of the he grew 7, 8 levels, I think. So not bad, I think. Even though he only grew, his growths are actually like really low. He hasn't got above like 30% in anything other than HP. So the fact that we got any growth out of him, I think, is again a testament to how many levels we gave him and how usable he is.
Yeah, and Percy comes at just such a critical time too, like as you're kind of getting into this like final stretch of the game, and he's just
Yeah.
solid throughout and very reliable, and so he's a very welcome addition to the squad.
Yeah,
Astor's great. I
Mr.
mean,
Thief.
I just think like he has such a fun thief design, like with just like better bulk and like pretty decent combat. Like he can do really well in the Western Isles, like dodging and like working on his sword rank. I mean, there's not really much incentive to grow him, and I mean, like I think this Astor actually is probably below average in terms of strength and maybe some other combat
Yeah.
parameters, but like capped speed. He does what you need him to do. Like he could have taken a ballista hit when we needed him to, or like a bolting and stuff like that. Like there's no reason why. Like if without Astor, it's like thieving becomes just way more unreliable because Chad and Kath just like aren't going to be up to scratch.
Yeah,
And
whilst
so-
Chad has amazing growth, it requires a lot of combat to get there. And Kath is way too frail. She has like 3 defense or something when she joins.
Yeah, Astor's bulk just makes him so much more worthwhile because he doesn't need investment to be.
Yeah, and imagine if he could
Yeah.
promote to an assassin. How good would that be? Or a
I
rogue.
know. If only. IS fix your
If
ROM
only.
hack.
Yeah, fix your ROM hack. Seriously, come on now.
Yeah, but not much else to say. I do wish we got the Astor Igrene support. I really wanted to get that, but
Yeah, it's a nice bit of lore, that.
yeah, oh well. I think Astor's character is pretty cool. Look right into that,
Yeah,
guys. But
definitely.
Neem!
Alright, I'm gonna let you gush about Ning. I've got to take care of something for 10 seconds, so you go ahead.
So Neem, so this is such a fun unit, and I really wish intelligence systems would make more units like Neem. And Neem to me feels like, I mean, I think part of it is because she's old, but like she really does feel like a carryover from a lost time at intelligence systems where characters would have different ages, and not every character was someone who you could marry. It was always just now it used to have characters like this, and Neem reminds me a lot of Thracia, and well, I think FE6 was like, obviously like very simplified compared to Thracia, and drew a lot from FE1 and kind of started to establish this like pattern of simpler games for Western audiences that would follow from like FE7 to FE10. Neem is such a holdover from Thracia with her staff utility and just like her general unit design. I love that she has low growths. I love that she has low HP. I think as a design, like she's really fun and super effective. And like the mechanics of the mechanics of FE6 really lend themselves well to Neem because of just like the incredible range she gets on like her staves. Dark magic, you don't really have anyone else who's using it besides Sophia, who you're probably not using or sacrificing after getting a guiding ring. She leveled speed, dude. She leveled speed. I don't know. I just think this is such a fun unit design, and I wish there were more characters like this in Fire Emblem. But Neem feels like she would have belonged in Thracia and just happened to land in FE6.
I was actually literally just thinking that. I was like, you could have taken Neem from Thracia and known no different. Other than the fact that she has 21 stats.
Yeah. She is straight out of Thracia, and I think that's really cool. Just a really fun design.
Yeah, and a testament to how, I guess, I just wish more units nowadays were a bit more like Neem.
Yeah, you don't really get units like that. Like, every unit needs to be good at everything, and Neem is really, like, she's not a combat unit. She's a utility unit. And...
yeah, for sure.
Just look at her. Let's look at her bulk, HP, and defense. Like, oof. Her con, like she's
effective 30.
Yeah, like she's in rough shape, and so Neem's great.
You would be too if you were that old.
Yeah, exactly. Neem's fantastic. Really fun unit. Really fun unit. Super clutch for us as well. The Berserk and Sleep Staff strats at the end, fantastic. The long physic range, incredible. Really good unit.
Yeah, for sure. My man. Honestly, we needed a healer, right? I said this last episode. We needed a healer, and Hugh came to the rescue with his E rank and staves. There's not really a lot to say about him other than the fact that his totally legitimate stats allowed him to get a few quite safe kills, but again, he was extremely frail. With an effective like 40 physical bulk. He was gonna die to anything, and I'm pretty sure he got doubled in a lot of matchups. So.
Yeah, his speed and luck aren't fantastic. I mean, he was definitely like, you use him to do big chip damage or big heal, and that was where he came in. And I know we benched him a few times towards the end because it's just like his bulk was so unreliable, and we had other better options.
Neem, who did pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, Neem was pretty comparable. But just with way better ranks, so he definitely gets held back by those ranks, especially like in how we decided to use him. I think normally he's so easy to just overlook and forget about. I do wish we had gotten the Neem Hugh support, but I don't think
that would have been amazing.
Would have been funny.
The headaches on her back.
Yeah, I mean it's a fun glitch though that you can do to get Hugh capped like this.
Oh yes, only that's a certified Pandan Xenith strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Garrett!
Mountain Man! Go ahead.
Dude, my god. So, Lena died so Garrett could live, is how I'm thinking about this.
Yeah, I agree.
And, again, like, I will give props to IS that, like, this is a unit that just, like, isn't great. And he has a niche purpose. He does really well against lances, and he can walk on water and mountains. And that's basically it. He can take hits because he's got so much HP. He's like freaking.
Yeah.
He's like a Chansey in Pokemon, just like
Oh, he is.
just like raw,
that's a
just
good
like
way of seeing it.
just flesh. You know, like low defenses, but like a ton of hit points. And
I know what you mean.
I swear, Garrett. I don't know if we would have been able if Garrett wasn't on the mountain at that particular time. I don't know if we would have been able to beat the game.
Yeah, that's true, because we would have lost, like, Yoder. Would we have lost No, Niime was down at the south. There were too many people up the top. Yeah, we would not have done as well.
Yeah. Garrett came in super clutch. With these stats, dude, he was that useful.
How? 12 speed, and he came in clutch.
He was incredible. And I think, like, kind of goes back to it. Like, I think, like, this is how you design a pre-promote berserker. Like, he just
Dosler should have really taken notes, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Dosler didn't even have 9. Dosler doesn't even have 10 speed. He's got 9 speed.
Yeah, Dosler's pathetic compared to Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett's pretty incredible. I think he's a really fun design. I think pre-promote design is really interesting in general, and I think FE6 has like a lot of good blueprints to take for pre-promote design if that's something that you're interested in. And Garrett is, I think, just like, if I'm making a pre-promote berserker, Garrett is really like what I'm doing. And that's what I did. I mean, Rockhouse is basically Garrett.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure there was a unit in Vision Quest that was vaguely reminiscent of Garrett.
Yeah, Rockhouse is totally Garrett.
Fun trivia for you. Garrett, over 5 levels, despite having a 45% growth, only grew in strength 0 times.
Oh, only 0 times. Yeah, I mean...
So we technically got a strength screwed Garrett, but not really.
Yeah, par for the course. I mean, with the Killer Axe, like, his crit's insane. He's fun.
That's just partly FE6 30% crit, isn't it? Similar with Rutger.
Yeah, Garrett's fun. Yoder.
Excellent, Yoder.
I mean, Yoder was not around very long, but did what he needed to do.
Healer when we needed more, I suppose. Not more to say.
Yeah. Saint Staff.
Oh, dude, seriously, with that strategy, actually, that was something that I missed in the previous episode about one of my proudest strategies, was using the Saint Staff in combination with the Restores on the other side to deal with the Berserk. I was very happy with thinking of that.
Yep. 100%. And Yoder was very clutch in that. Yoder does what Yoder do. You know, he just did what he had to. And for that, it is commendable. 30 res is insane.
He had some fun matchups against some druids.
Yes, definitely.
Doing pathetic damage to him, and he was hitting him with the lightning.
Just another like cool like unit design of like old man with capped res and good ranks.
Oh yeah, no,
fantastic. Trek.
Oh jeez, go ahead.
I tried so hard, man. I tried so hard to salvage him.
No, it wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening.
I let you. I humored you by letting you take him to the arena, but I knew it was never gonna catch up.
Trek, yeah. I think we're kind of getting to the point now where, like, looking through, like, no one else we really need to comment on.
No one else really pulled their weight that much. That was kind of it. Again, I'm sad we didn't get to use geese and boars and whatever, but I'm surprised we didn't get a lot of mileage out of Gonzalez.
We didn't use him at all.
No, we didn't. He didn't enter a single round of combat. But again, I think that was down to the fact that we had a lot.
Yeah, we had Lot, and... Yeah, we had Lot.
Yeah, we had Lot. Everyone else was just kind of cannon fodder if we needed it, really.
Yeah, I mean, Gonzalez was like, what, like, we would have, like, he would have been able to promote with the hero quest that Zephiel dropped.
Yeah, so what would have even been the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it, really. Now I just guess...
Faye was useful in Chapter 16.
Oh, yeah, she soaked up 3 rounds of Purge.
Yeah, thank you, Faye.
Good stuff, Faye.
As far as dead units...
Oh, we could be here forever talking about what could have been, but I guess maybe just pick kind of 2 or 3 you think that really could have changed the run.
Yeah, like, looking through, like, I mean... I'll say this. I love Juro. My opinion of Juro has forever shifted because of this run. I think he's a really fun unit. Really unfortunate the way he died.
For us.
Marcus as well. I really like Marcus. Um,
Oh yeah, I know.
Tate, I think, was another unit that was fun. Like, obviously not fantastic,
Yeah, Tate.
but
I
yeah,
really couldn't find a lot of use for Tate really outside of kind of generic flyer support.
yeah, and I think she does that job well enough. Echidna,
Oh,
um,
I don't know, man. I was debating again with our number one fan Laurent over this, and I was sort of saying I don't know how much difference Echidna would have made in the long run, because she would have just been another sword unit of which we had Rutger and Deke and Percival, and she would have been another axe unit when we had Lot and Percival, and her stats just weren't as good as any of the others. So
yeah.
I honestly don't know how much difference she'd have made.
So now we're at a trial map. Hey,
Yes, we
everyone.
are. How did we get to this point?
How did we get to this one? So we had to make a cut from our previous video because lo and behold, my computer sucks and it started chugging, as you probably saw in the footage just a few minutes ago. But also, we lost a bit of our conversation. So we were about to start talking about dead units.
Yeah, about the mighty
And-
warriors who fell throughout our adventure.
Yes, those who we left behind. I mean, there were so many deaths that were painful.
Just end it there. There were so many deaths.
There were so many deaths.
Yeah, there were a few
I gotta
painful
say,
ones.
like, we got pretty good mileage out of Alen.
Yeah,
and-
honestly, oh, dude, I was so sad to
Yeah.
lose Alen because, as I said in the previous bit, like, I had such a. I'm never going to stop talking about my grand strategy for chapter 16. It just went completely down the drain. It's just, oh.
I get it, man. I get
Yeah.
it.
Especially since he was so good in comparison to Lance as well.
Yeah, he had been leveling really well. He was like not even that much worse than Percival, which is saying something. He was pretty solid.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
Came when we lost him after 16 chapters of fighting. Trying to think who else. Losing Marcus. I think I
Oh
alluded to
god, yeah,
before.
Marcus. Again, that death still is another one that haunts me.
Yeah.
Especially
I
because
still would.
go on.
I was gonna say I would still really like to be able to use Shin in an Iron Man. I think it's interesting to think like how he would have fit into our army, even though it's like I know he's quite good and he's quite useful.
Yeah,
wonder
because
what it would've been like to have had him.
he's supposed to have generally really good stats, isn't he?
Yeah,
He probably if he'd have turned out like he usually does, it probably would have meant that we'd never have used Klein. Klein might not even have died. We wouldn't have had to use him.
I know. We probably would have just benched Igrene, honestly. and
Yeah,
just used Shin
literally.
instead.
Just if we'd had too many bow users by that point.
Considering we never had any Orion's bolts or never used any of them, we probably just
Yeah,
would've
we
given one
didn't.
to Shin.
Yeah, sadly we never got to use the absolute Titan that is Walt.
I know. Walt lives comfortably on the bench.
Yeah, I think that's his kind of purpose. I'd be amazed if anyone could make that much use out of Walt, but somehow he survived.
Yeah, he
So-
didn't die in like any of his force deploy maps, so that's something.
Yeah, no,
I think we
bet.
got him like maybe 1 level, 2 level.
Yeah, I think he did get a level, but I just remember it being really dreadful. We were just like, yeah, no, we're never using this guy.
Well, as far as other units who died, I feel like Shanna was a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
As
please
well,
don't
not
remind me.
because, Oh, not even because like we killed her, but it's like even like to that point we hadn't really used her very much, and I think
Yeah,
it would
that's
be
true.
interesting to like try and use her more aggressively. And I think on a second Iron Man run, it would be a little bit easier too. Because
Yeah, I was
would
going to
just
say, now that we
clear-
know a bit more of what we'd be doing with Shanna.
yeah,
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I don't know. Again, yeah, I personally don't tend to get much mileage out of flyers. I don't know if it's just the way I play Fire Emblem or
Mhm.
whatever, but I just tend to, I don't know, just not make really good use of them. Which is why I think I was
Fair.
so careless with her.
yeah.
No, I don't know. Who can say? But the one that's looming right below Shanna is Lou.
Lou, yeah, Lou's tough. Lou's doing really well for us too. He had grown super well. I'd gotten, I don't know about you, but that was probably one of the best Lou's I've ever had. I've usually
Yeah.
find that he doesn't grow super well and his magic is a problem. But he was a Titan. He
Yeah,
was
very
one of the
consistent.
harder carries up until that point, I would argue. Especially
That-
like post promotion, he was very strong.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because again, he does fit into slightly that more Asvil archetype than a lot of later mages do. So he's very very useful for us.
Yeah, I like blue. Ray is another one who's like
I don't know how
kinda
much
wish
we'd have
we
gotten
would've
out of
used-
Ray.
Yeah, I mean similarly like the other staff units as well. Like, what would it have been like if we had actually tried going for warp and had other healers besides Cecilia?
Yeah, I wonder
Well,
actually.
you know,
Again, Ray, I just feel like he'd be so hard to train up properly, especially since we kept soon after his introduction, we had so many things going wrong.
yeah.
He'd have I don't know. We needed to really rely on our sort of reliable units like Rutger and Lot.
Hmm.
I just don't think Ray would have had much of a chance to kind of catch up,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But other than that, I don't think anyone else would have really changed the run that much. I remember we had a bit of a point of contention about Echidna, but
Hmm.
I don't know if that's just me trying to make myself feel better about killing her off.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I've never used Echidna super late, and that's not necessarily a function of like me thinking that she's a bad unit. It's more of a function of me like just not having ever really thought much of a pre-promote.
Yeah.
Or in earlier times I've played, and so hard to say. I mean, Deke. I think we talked about this. Deke was basically just Echidna
Yeah, he was Echidna, just
because of how
better in
fast he
all
was.
honesty.
He was Echidna with supports.
Yeah, especially since Deke ended up being quite fast and not terribly strong. He essentially did just become a non-pre-promote version of Echidna, which I guess is, yeah.
A non-pre-promote version of Echidna that supports Lot and Rutger. Sign me up.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of
Yeah.
Echidna had the odds stacked against her from the start. Sorry, Laurent, again. You're getting another
Yeah.
mention.
Laurent's seething right now.
The real patron.
yeah.
Other than that,
The real patron. Kyrads too, probably. I'm sure. But all the Echidna fanboys.
yeah, of which there are many.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's it for really. I mean, obviously Giro because lol, getting rid of the
Giro.
bad end.
Jiro hurt, dude. That death really hurt.
Yeah, that stung.
I never liked him as a unit until this Iron Man, and then I fell in love and was promptly
Had it
destroyed.
shattered. Yeah, I think it was partly because we went out of our way so much to get him. I think we almost felt indebted to use him, but also the fact he was really good. But also Rutger just got hit by an 11%.
By 11.
Oh jeez.
Oh, man.
But yeah, no, I think Giro. I've got a newfound appreciation for Giro, as he said.
Yeah. And speaking of newfound appreciation, one thing that we wanted to discuss and kind of use as our final segment in this video is the big question. How has Iron Man changed your perspective on Fire Emblem 6?
Just the magnum of that question. So I think I remember what I was thinking about this. I was saying that it really forces you to look at your units in a different way. Because in FE6 you just have so many units. You kind of just think to yourself, they're a bit expendable, But I feel with the Iron Man, it really just kind of forces you to weigh up every unit's strengths. Really try and make the most out of them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, like, because of the Iron Man, I just treasure each unit so much more. Like, units that I previously would have completely overlooked, I'm now suddenly thinking about, like, how can I use you?
Yeah. No.
And it makes the victories that much sweeter. It makes the deaths hurt that much more. It's honestly such a great way to play Fire Emblem, and I think FE6 is probably one of the best games to Iron Man in the series, just because of its cast. And while some people might say that, like, it's punishing when you lose the good ending, to me, it's like that's just asking for replayability. Like, if you lose your good units, or you lose the units that prevent you from getting the like you should play it again and do better next time.
Yeah, maybe in 5 years' time we
feel.
can come back to this series.
That's like how I feel about it. It's like I would come back and try and do it better.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since you put so many hours into it,
Yeah, and that's like part of it, right? It's supposed to be a challenge run. It's not supposed to be an easy way to play the game. It's supposed to be more difficult. That's
for
why,
sure.
like, I mean, yes, you could argue that it's the intended way to play, but it's, perfectly optional. And I think this game is designed as such where it's super Iron Man friendly. All the missions are C's. You have one Lord you need to protect, who you have for a number of chapters. There's like a really good, like, it's a lengthy enough game that you get to try a bunch of different units, and like your good units will start to fall off. Like Marcus, had he survived, would
Yeah.
have eventually not been the Titan that he was earlier on. Like we would have had to like shift units around a bit, and we did. And I think stuff like that's really fun. And I think this game is very conducive to Iron Man. And well, I think that yes, it would be stinkier to Iron Man a game like this where the thrones are really annoying. If like let's like imagine how tough it would have been if we lost to Rutger early
Oh, don't
on.
even. Yeah, I don't know what
You
we would
know,
have done.
but to me, it's like that doesn't make it less good for Iron Man. That just means that like Rutger is really valuable, and you should treasure him,
Oh, for
and you
sure.
should try not to let him die. And it's the same for like oh, we lost all of our top tier units, and now I can't do anything. It's like, yeah, dude, how'd you lose all of your top tier units?
Yeah, it's kind of your
You
fault by
know?
that point. But yeah, just
Yeah,
picking up on
exactly.
one thing you said there. One thing I really like about Iron Man that I feel that you get that you don't get with playing Fire Emblem normally is that you really are forced to adapt. That's one thing I really, really enjoyed because when something went wrong, in normal Fire Emblem, your first thought is, oh, just reset the chapter, just try again. But in
Yeah.
the Iron Man, we were like, oh, this bad thing happened. We just got to get over it, and we just got to move forward, and we got to think of something new.
Yeah.
And I just think that kind of level of thinking, you just don't get that when you're not playing Iron Man.
That's so
Really.
true. And I think that's a life lesson, right? It's like you're gonna find yourself in shitty situations. You don't just get to hit the reset button on those in real life. You have to figure your way out of them. Iron Man is real life.
Iron Man is an allegory for real life.
It is, dude. It is.
I
You
love that.
know? Um so I don't know, man. I think that Iron Man certainly has made me appreciate this game a lot more. And
Yeah.
while yes, it does some things that are unfair and there are some things that are inherently flawed about the game, I'll say this again. I'll get on my soapbox. Guys, FE6 doesn't need to be fixed. FE6 is
No, it
perfect.
doesn't. It's perfect. Stop with the rebalances, honestly.
Yes. Please stop with the rebalances. We don't need them. Yes, there are a lot of things that we could do, and you're seeing it on the screen right now. Ambush spawns are terrible. They're
I
awful.
reckon Neem's about to probably die because of them.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's certain things about this game that are obviously not very good. Like, of course, I would love to boost the hit of hand axes and axes in general. I would like to make this ambush spawns not ambush spawns. I would like to make it so I have more flexibility with recruitment for certain characters. So, like, if Sue dies, I don't lose like Shin and all that kind of stuff. But that's just FE6.
Yeah, it's
You
just what
accept it
makes the
for what
game
it
the
is.
game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Completely.
and I think we were talking about it last time, where it's like you don't go back, like an artist doesn't go back and like re-record their oldest songs to try and fix them. You accept the art for what it is.
Oh, for sure.
And it's
Yeah.
like FE6 has a piece of art, and it's like, yes, it's flawed, but you learn from that for your next time.
Yeah, 100%.
Um,
Yeah,
rebalancing you're just not making it FE6 at that point. You're just making it easier.
exactly. It's not almost. It's almost not a rebalance. It's let's make FE6 like FE8, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Like, let's take the things that are unique about FE6 and like try and smooth it out so that it feels more like the other GBA games.
Yeah. Whereas if you actually try and play it where like how we have in an Iron Man, you really. And to be fair, I can give these guys credit, or some leeway with the guys who make the rebalances because they probably haven't Iron Man the game, and they probably haven't seen how its kind of unique quirks can kind of make it a more kind of enjoyable and fulfilling experience. So but again,
Yeah.
point is, it doesn't need rebalancing.
It doesn't need rebalancing, and I think part of it is like everyone wants something different out of Fire Emblem, and like not everyone's going to Iron Man. I highly recommend you try Iron Manning. I think this hard difficulty is all in all like it's probably one of the best balanced hard difficulties in the game, and I
Oh, for
think
sure,
that's
yeah.
or in the series, and I think that it's special, and we should enjoy that.
As we
I think-
have for
Yeah.
25 plus episodes.
Yeah, like the hard mode bonuses, it's janky, but it's super fun, and like it works out. And yes, like the cast is uneven, but like you can make almost anyone work
Yeah, for
with
sure.
enough effort. And there's enough good units to help you carry that, like, unless you're playing super poorly, you should be okay.
Yeah. Anyone can Iron Man. You
Yes,
can Iron
anyone-
Man. You viewer watching can Iron Man.
Yes, you can play this game, Iron Man. I believe in you.
Yes, of course.
So Iron Man's definitely made me appreciate FE6 more.
100%, yeah.
I think FE6 for me is a top 3 Fire Emblem game. Thracia, FE9, FE6 are probably my top 3. FE6 is probably my favorite actual game.
Overall, as you'd say, this is actually your favorite. I respect that.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite overall, but like gameplay wise, I think it's probably the best.
Yeah.
Next to Thracia. I think narratively it's not very interesting. I think just seeing Roy and Merlinus talk for most of the game isn't very ideal. Like you tell me about FE6's story, and I couldn't really tell you very much at all.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It's kind of just like Roy romps around to leave. He goes to the Western Isles at one point, and that's pretty rad.
Yeah,
And then,
well, he's winning the Western Isles at the moment. I was actually thinking, funnily enough, on that note, I was thinking, don't you think this trial map reminds you a bit of a Thracia map?
Which one? Is it like Chapter 2X?
No, the one, like, sort of, yeah. Do you not think this kind of is almost a bit reminiscent of 2X? Just add Fog of War, and it's basically the same chapter, isn't it?
There's similarities. I mean, it's just like islands and water. I'm down with it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think in
down.
terms of my top 3, I think I said it was similar to you, FE6 and Thracia. But I like the Sacred Stones because of its characters. I think Sacred Stones has probably my favorite cast, not just because I'm extremely biased because I love characters like Inez and La Rochelle, but I just think, I don't know. I think if FE6, the only thing I would really not change but like improve about FE6 is that, again, like you said, the narrative and yeah, the characters, I suppose. Because whilst this game has great characters, I just don't think any of them are particularly, I don't know, fleshed out as much as they kind of could be. Which is fair enough because there's like a cast of 70 or whatever. But
it's a
I'd
big cast. Yeah.
Love to see more of our boys of like Rutger and Geese and all that.
Yeah, I think narratively, I mean, the supports in this game are really great, and I think there's a lot of good characterization. It's just locked behind this very archaic system that
support building.
Most people aren't going to see. Like, do you think the average person's going to see Lance and Lot play chess?
No, I definitely wouldn't have.
Yeah, like that's not something that's going to happen in like your regular discourse to play versus like, you look at Three Houses, every character will talk your ear off for most of the game. You'll spend more time talking to characters than playing Fire Emblem. So it's just very different. But I think like with a better support system, I don't think people would complain as much about the characters in this game.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, not a remake, but some form of, I guess, support might be coming at some point because they recently have, between this recording and the last one, didn't they announce the FE1 translation?
They did. They announced the FE1 translation. I know that Kazaki Hara, the guy who's directed Three Houses and Shadows of Valentia, he's stated that FE6 would be the next game he'd want to remake. If
oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was Kazaki Hara who said that. Someone in the comments will have to fact check me on that, but I believe it was the director of Shadows of Valentia, who is also the director of Three Houses, has said that would be the next game he'd want to remake. So,
oh dear,
if he was able to get what he wants, we might get one. I'm super curious how they would even handle that because I think
just a different director of someone else's. I don't know. I'm really skeptical about that because I don't know if they would do it justice. Then
that's the thing, and like one of the reasons why I think FE6 won't get remade is because the cast is too big, and because they like using voice actors now, the game's going to get really expensive with all the lines they'd need to record because they insist on having voice acting. And like it worked for Shadows of Valentia because the cast was small. It worked for Three Houses because the cast was small. FE6, like if they remake it and cut characters so that people get more voice lines, I will riot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they could. Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't even consider that. I would actually scream. Even though I'm not that big into Fire Emblem anymore, I would still be really, really annoyed.
Yeah, so it's like it's interesting to see like the direction they would go because like I wonder with older games, like I feel like they're going to continue to be hamstrung by like this insistence on having way too much character talk and voice acting, and that's going to limit their ability. Like think of how big this cast is and how many lines they need to record, all the 3D models they need to build. It would just be a lot.
Yeah,
it's a big game.
I suppose.
for
Yeah.
modern IS to handle.
As long as I get cast as Rutger, I don't care what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
That
But,
would be excellent.
And I also think that, like, and I think we were talking about this last time. This the game's design is so antithetical to modern IS now as well.
Right.
I'm just curious, like, how they would feel about it.
I mean, they managed to keep Shadows of Valencia's gameplay mostly kind of true, in the way that the kind of stats were laid out and the single weapon system. So I don't know. Maybe they could pull off, but time would only tell, I suppose.
Argue though that Three Houses it plays more like Gaiden than it does like GBA.
You think?
I think so.
I hadn't actually thought about that. I kind of Three
what I
Houses
mean?
has mostly kind of faded out my memory.
That's fair. It's kind of faded on mine too. It just kind of like
uh,
the way that like there's emphasis on the level ups and all that, and like grinding individual characters to get to certain points of promotion is very Gaiden. The lack of emphasis on the maps themselves as being like a center point, I think, is quite Gaiden. The smaller cast is quite Gaiden.
yeah, I suppose so.
The individualization of each character is a little bit more like Gaiden. It's more RPG-ish like Gaiden was.
Yeah,
and
no,
you can
that's
tell-
definitely true. Felt like
Yeah.
more of a typical kind of RPG, yeah.
So
But,
regardless, the only other thing I'll say is like one thing I really do like about FE6 and one of my favorite things about it is, and we were talking about this last time, but I wanted to get this quote on camera, is that FE6 is like the transition between old and new. And
right.
it's like I'm a big Beatles fan, and this is like the equivalent of like Revolver or Rubber Soul, where it's like you start to see like the later stuff coming through, like the aesthetics and this like a hint of what would come, but it's still like very much rooted in like old school like Kaga style design.
Yeah,
And I think
definitely.
it's such a good best of both. And for me, like when I look at it at that lens, I'm like, why would anyone want to rebalance it? Like no one's out here trying to like fix Thracia in the same way.
No, I hope not, or else I'm coming for them.
Yeah, but I think a big reason why people go and rebalance FE6 is because they expect it to play like FE7 and FE8, and it doesn't, and that frustrates them because of the visuals.
Yeah,
But
that's true. I really
it's
like
really, like-
Thracia visuals.
I like Thracia visuals as well, but I'm saying like, think about it, like Westerners probably played FE7 and FE8 first, and then they came to this, and it's totally different. In how
That
it
is
plays.
true, yeah. I did start with FE8, I think I remember, as we were saying in the finale.
Yeah.
But again, I guess it depends on your mindset, because, I mean, I was more than happy to kind of go back to the older games and embrace them for what they were. And in fact, actually ended up probably enjoying them more, especially in the case of, like, FE4, 5, and 6. I was like, I like this way more than FE7 and Shadow Dragon and later, what's the other one? Mystery of the Emblem.
Yeah. There's something to be said about that. And so I think it just throws a lot of people off because of it. And then it's like, it's not like the other GBA games. Why is this so hard? Why are the hit rates so bad? Like, let me rebalance it.
Yeah.
Like, guys, we don't need to do that. Like, this was IS's transition album. From old school,
Yeah, I think that's a good note. Yeah, for sure.
And to me, I think it's worth celebrating as that. And I think there's a lot of good you can take from it. If you're making your own Fire Emblem GBA hack ROM.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, these guys were at the top of the ROM hacking scene, weren't they?
Yeah, they were the first ones, dude. 2002. These guys.
Yeah, wow. Honestly, I was 2 years old when this
they
came
didn't
out.
even have FE. They didn't even have FE Builder. How did they put it together?
Oh my god, yeah, they did this. They did this all through Nightmare modules.
I don't even think they had Nightmare modules, dude.
They just hex edited the whole thing. They just built it from scratch.
Yeah, they just found this like lost cartridge that was never released to America, and then made Fire Emblem 6.
Wow.
And left it where That's,
And on
that's
that
how ROMs
bombshell.
work. Yeah, guys, this is just. And then then IS would go on to plagiarize their work. Like FE7 is an FE6 ROM hack.
Oh, it
Chew on
is.
that one
Yeah.
for a bit.
No, hang on. Wait, no. Chronologically, we don't know what FE7 is yet. It hasn't happened yet, Panda. Come on.
It hasn't happened yet.
Oh
my.
man.
But anyway, overall, Xenith, I do want to say this was super fun to record. This was a great series.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, it's
And-
been such a nice thing to sink some time into.
Yeah, FE6 is great. I liked the game before I played Iron Man in this modality, but this has given me a whole new appreciation for it. I don't know if and when I'll be able to go back to it, especially without having this glory slot,
Oh, of course, yeah.
but it's fantastic. This is a really good Fire Emblem game, and I wish that more Fire Emblem games tried more to be like FE6.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what
And
my kind of path with Fire Emblem is going to be from here on out, because again, I've kind of fallen out with the series a bit. But I might try Iron Maning the Sacred Stones. Just I don't know why that kind of I had a couple of thoughts about that over the last week. So we'll see if that can reignite my flame for Fire Emblem, I suppose.
Like Sacred Stones is a pretty fair game to Iron Man. Like the hardest difficulty is not super hard. Yes, Seth is a god, but there's a lot of other units that like probably wouldn't get used unless others died. So
Yeah, this is true. But yeah, honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do without this Iron Man now. What are my weekends going to be filled with?
I know. Yeah.
I actually have to do uni work for once. God damn.
Oh no.
Dreaded.
You'll just have to make your own Fire Emblem 6. Just make your own love letter to it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think I might
Not
think about
rebalance.
that. No, I will not make a rebalance, I promise.
Guys, if you keep making FE6 rebalances, please stop wasting your time.
Yeah, just make a real heck.
Intelligence Systems has already rebalanced FE6. It's called FE6. It's perfect as it is.
Yes, it is perfect. I think that's a good note. Yes.
Yes. No, actually, no. To be serious, FE6, imperfect game, but really fun to play.
Of course.
And its imperfections are what give it that characteristic experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you have a character flaw. It's like that's just part of who you are. It's FE6. It's just part of who it is.
Yeah,
And
no, definitely true.
that.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement there.
Perfect isn't interesting all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
In FE6, I had a lot of fun playing.
Oh no, definitely. But seriously,
In
thank
part
you to
because
all
of
you
the
guys who've stuck with this series. So I feel like this is like the third time we've like said our rounds of goodbyes, but I suppose it's just delaying the inevitable. I don't want to go.
I know. This was fun. It was good to chat through.
Yeah,
Our
of
units.
course. Reflect.
Good to reminisce a bit. And let us know in the comments. I'll be the YouTuber for a sec.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what you liked about the run in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. No, actually, don't subscribe to me, guys.
And leave a
I'm done.
rating. No, don't subscribe to him, else
Yeah.
it'll force him to carry on making YouTube.
I know.
I'll force him to keep making YouTube.
God. help me. On that note, guys, this has been Fire Emblem 6, The Binding Blade, Fire Emblem 6, GBA, Fire Emblem Hack ROM by Intelligence Systems, 2002. Holy crap.
And it is now 2020.
Wow.
Holy
18 years,
moly.
dude. Such a good game.
FE6 is
Please.
officially an adult.
It's officially an adult. FE6 is going out to vote.
Yes, guys, vote, please.
Yes, don't forget to vote. Vote for Lot.
Yes, vote for Lot. Yes, I think you do a good job.
Don't write in Lot, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't want to end
Regardless.
this.
I know.
Oh, man.
know.
I have
But
to.
it's
I have
time.
to.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go play FE6 and stop rebalancing it. Thank you.
And goodbye.